much talk from you clergymen.
Too much talk.
I'm just a poor fucking musician. I have no truck with religion. Backgammon, that's my game. And that's all he said. And he left me there and returned to his instrument and a small son with Musarkas. Do you want to use the toilet? Well, a general evacuation would do us all some good, I suppose. And then we could return and chatter more and tear each other asunder. You know, Mrs. Winters was at the table and she was looking very puce in the face. As if she had eaten too much bird or something. So I said to her, I said, Madam, I said, there is an excellent remedy for all diseases caused by overeating or repletion. And she said, what's that? I said, it's a mixture of piss and shit, urine and excrement, forcibly put down the patient's throat. And I do recommend it to you, Mrs. Winters, I said, for the general good and as an excellent specific against all diseases caused by overeating. Well, you should have seen the fucking bishop. He was up like a bird out of his nest and he went around the room in a flutter like that. Oh my God. Oh, you said too much now, look. You said too much yesterday. You said too much Sunday. You said too much Friday. You said too much on Saturday and Easter morning. In fact, he said, you talk too much nonsense. And then he looked at me and he said, as a matter of fact, he said, as a matter of fact, Dr. Swift, he said, you write too much nonsense. I write too much nonsense. Catholics. I believe, Madam, that you are from Brazil. There must be an enormous amount of people in Brazil. You're just one more. One more Brazilian in the world. I imagine there's a lot of poor people in Brazil. Many poor people, like Romanians. Oh yes. East Europeans. Toilet cleaners. Yes. Clean the picnic. Yes. Do you know why you're here? You know why you're at the picnic? With this compassionate crowd. I tell you. See, it's a melancholic object for those of us here. When we see beggars of the female sex from Romania or Brazil or whatever, you know, itinerants, sometimes with 4, 6, even 10 children, all in rags, disgusting. Now, whoever could find out a fair and cheap and an easy method of making all those little bastards useful members of society, well, surely he would deserve so well of the public as to have a statue put up for him in the public. You have children, madam? Yeah. Do you know that a young, healthy infant, little baby at 1 year old, is the most wholesome, delightful, delicious and nutritious food. Whether they stew it or roast it, bake it or boil it. And I have no doubt it would serve equally well in a casserole. Always advising the mothers, by the way, to let them suck plentifully, you know, during the last month. Render them plump and fat for a good table. See, a child would make 2 dishes at an entertainment for friends. When the family dines alone, the 4 or hind quarter would make a reasonable dish. And think about a curry at the picnic. And those who are more thrifty could flay the carcass and then use the skin to make little gloves for fine gentlemen and young ladies. But I always recommend that you buy the infants alive and dress them hot from the knife, like we do roasting pigs. I was coming to my point, wasn't I? I was at the dinner table and I had a big large platter and a big lid on it, and I went over to the table and I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Clyde, excuse me, Mrs. Winters, I want to leave this meat down on the table. Some cold meat before you go, it'll help mop up the alcohol, it'll swim with the fish and the claret." And the bishop said, "I couldn't eat another morsel." And I said, "You're not going to fucking refuse this." And I took off the lid and there was the little baby. Lovely little haunches on him. Lovely roasted crisp from the oven. And little head and shoulders all garnished with a parsnip. She fainted. And I eventually had to explain there was only a fucking rabbit under that.
E não nos deixeis cair em tentação, Senhor, mas livrai-nos de todo mal,